All right. So, hi everyone. Thank you all for being here today. I'm pretty sure that we have quite some interesting things to show you. And actually, I heard that there were some aliens present here today. So, actually, if you guys could all take a look right here. Let me give it just 1 second. So, just take a look right here and then. Yeah. Sorry. Anyway, jokes aside. So, I'm going to talk a little bit about our teaming capabilities. Of course, I believe in your agenda, it said that we're going to talk about offline capabilities, or at least how to handle orders offline. But of course, like Bartek said, there were some issues, and we had to change our topic. Anyway, so my name is. Apparently, it doesn't work. My name is not Deity. I'm pretty sure. So, right, thanks. That's 1, 2, 4. So, I'm Kane. I'm the project manager for Deity PWA. And apparently it doesn't work again. I'm pretty sure I have to click on it, right? Now it works, sorry. Anyway, so we've been working for the past couple months really hard on trying to actually make an open source solution for PWA. So we've been working really hard, and actually one of our main priorities was to actually, let's say, make our code base like really high quality. So that is one of our main priorities right now. And also, without going too much into detail, what it comes down to is that we've built a new architecture. So we will also have kind of a new tech stack. So we will use the latest technologies, latest versions of everything. And with that comes some new features. And one of those features is about how you are able to customize your look and feel for your team. So actually we've come up with 4 core principles that we think are very important for PWA solutions. And we call it the FIRE principles. And these stand for, or actually, they should be flexible, so PWA solutions should be flexible. They should be integrable, that's quite a hard thing to say. They should be reliable, and they should be extensible. So, how do you actually get started? If I can yeah. So, how do you actually get started? Well, first of all, we provide all of our packages on npm.js.org. So pretty much all that is required is to install Node.js on your local machine. And good luck to the next one with this thing, but this is, yeah, so now I'm at the previous slide. You can see me clicking, right? Yeah, so here's actually how that works in practice. Basically, you input your command into your command prompt in a directory that you want to install your app in. So create Falcon app, and by the way, Falcon is the code name we gave to our PWA solution. So create Falcon app, then you provide the name that you want to give to your app. And then basically it installs the base structure of the whole client and server side. It also installs all required dependencies and gives another basic configuration setup. So after you've done that, all you need to do is start your client and your server instances, and then you can start developing your front end right away. So there's not a lot of configuration needed. The front end itself connects to some kind of public backend at the first instance. But of course we provide customization. You can configure everything afterwards. And right. So Falcon UI is actually the package that is fully responsible for all UI components. So it consists of only themable, let's say, call it dumb components. So these components do not have any data logic in them. Also, the components itself will be using the latest version of React, right? They will be consistent, they will be fast and responsible. And yeah, anyway, they will be, or the package itself will be installable as a, let's say, a standalone package. But really, sorry guys, I'm not sure what is happening with this thing, but there appears to be some kind of lag. Does it work from this side? No? Yeah, okay, I think I got it. Anyway, so, of course, as an agency, you probably have developed your own custom theme already. And what we make it possible is to actually very easily implement that theme into your into a Deity PWA. So basically, you only need to import it, then you add it as an argument to your the create theme function that we provide, and basically this is the entry point for your whole configurable theme. So after that, you just use it as a prop in our theme provider component, and the theme provider component itself is actually wrapped around the whole application. So your whole application is, or let's say, theme provider provides its props to all its children, and of course the application is one of those children, so it has access to all the properties. So actually we've made some kind of GUI or GUI or whatever you want to call it. And you can see here that we have actually some kind of things already in there. So breaking points, some borders, some other things like easing functions. But actually, let's change this secondary color to something more datey, something green. And actually, let's see how that affected some of our components. So, all right. So here we have a button component, and you can see right away that the color is already green. But of course, here, this is one of our cool parts. We've provided breaking point configuration, so it only affects the breaking point for medium. And actually, when we are going to change that, you can see it's going to change right away. So that's very nice. And actually, let's change that second button as well. Add the background to the green configuration that we made before. And it should be getting green. Right. So, actually, one other cool thing I should, or at least I wanted to talk about, is that it makes it very easy to get something more configurable. Like, let's say you want to add responsive font size, but only for your extra small breaking point. So basically, you simply add your calculation, and then in your components, in your root, so it will be kind of global. Then you input the font size, and you only for, let's say, the extra small breaking point, you wanted to use responsive. So responsive font design. And in practice, it will look something like this. So the font will actually scale based on your width. So it's something that I thought was pretty cool. Anyway, that's as far as my presentation got. So thank you all for coming, and I'm pretty sure we'll have a panel afterwards with a lot of questions. And I think it's up to the next one. Right.
Okay, guys, so I will maybe use this time needed for setup to introduce myself. So my name is Piotr. I'm CTO and co-founder of Vue Storefront project. To all of you who are not familiar with this project, it's open source, MIT license, PWA headless frontend. You can connect to Magento or basically any other e-commerce backend. And I will try to focus today on how to create team in Vue Storefront, because this is a topic of this PWA battle. But I first will show you, like in 2 minutes, the architecture of this solution to better get how it works, because I think it's pretty important. This is a technical conference, so we have to have some technical problems, right? Okay. Just give me a second. Okay. So Vue Storefront is PWA headless frontend for e-commerce. That means that it works on its own using Node.js and Vue.js frameworks. It's open source, so you can find some more information on Vue Storefront.io or on our GitHub. We currently have I really like it.
Just making you appreciate responsiveness.
This is an unresponsive pilot.
Try cleaning the cache.
It works better from this side, so probably the batteries are pretty low. So we have more than 500 developers in the community, 1 year on the market. You can find more information on GitHub, so everybody are invited to join us. You can check the demo, how Vue Storefront works on demo.vuestorefront.io. The best experience you probably will have on Android devices, where the app asks you if you like to install it on your home screen, and basically you can check all the features there. So first, the architecture of Vue Storefront. So basically everything starts here with the Vue Storefront app. It's Vue.js application that works in your browser on your device and gets all the information from the second project, Vue Storefront API. as the name suggests, it's just API layer, which gets all the information from the NoSQL database, Elasticsearch in our case. So we try to build the whole front end to be separate from the backend. It works on its own. You can do the whole checkout process here, and if something is bad happening to your e-commerce CMS, to other pieces, it still works. So you can solve not only like performance, conversion rates problems with this new front end, but also scalability problems. Moreover, it works even in the offline mode. You can also check it on demo view store.io, switching the airplane mode after browsing through categories. Everything will be cached in the browser, so it still works. Okay, so here's just one more important thing, that we synchronize all the information you need from the e-commerce CMS to Elasticsearch to have the full cache here to make it really fast. And now we are going into the key topic for today, like how to customize view storefront, how to create your own team. So this is the architecture of our frontend. Basically, you have view storefront core, which is more or less all the business logic, all the integration logic, everything that's needed to make e-commerce frontend running. And then you have teams and you have extensions. So teams and extensions are something that developers are building. So if you are building e-commerce on view storefront, you will be doing a team or doing extensions. So we even separated it in this source code. You can see it on our GitHub. So we have this core, which is for view storefront core, and then SRC is for developer, and you have teams and extensions there. So more or less like in Magento world, you create your own modules, you create your own teams, and you can still update the core, which is pretty important because we created view storefront as a kind of framework, so we can still update it with each new version. I'm not sure what's happening. Okay. Can you switch slides on a keyboard? Oh, that's great. Okay, so this is how our framework looks like. So we have themes and extensions. We also support some cool PWA features like server-side rendering. So even if this is like JS application, it's pretty well indexed by Google. You can read more on that on our GitHub and docs. Here is the slide about our tech stack. So Vue.js, we use also Babel, Node.js in the backend, Express.js also in the backend, and Elastic for data store. To work with Vue storefront, you don't have to be familiar with Magento. You don't have to have any Magento experience before. I think this is pretty cool stack, cool stuff pointed out by our first users, because we have like 5 or 6 sites on production already. They pointed it out like, oh, it was great because I could have hired just front-end developers, not to invest 3 or 2 months into their Magento training. They just started working with Vue.js, which is great. So here is about teamings. We have those core components. So we have like microcart components, product page component, all the components that are needed for e-commerce. And then we have this team, which is created by you, by developers, by agency, can be downloaded from somewhere. Just the look and feel of the e-commerce. So you build we build the core components business logic in the core. So Vue storefront contains everything you need to have Magento up and running, like product page, bundle products, configurable products, checkout. Everything is there. All you need is just to create team using those core components. So there will be an example with microcart. So we have microcart.js. It's a JavaScript class containing the logic for this microcart component. It contains some methods you can use in your team, like add to cart, how many products I have in cart, totals, all the other stuff. It looks more or less like this. This is just the interface of microcard.js. It's just plain JavaScript class. And then in your team, you are creating something like microcard.view, because it's Vue.js component. And what you are doing, what is pretty cool, you are importing this microcard from Vue Storefront. This add means that it's also npm.js package. You can install and update it using npm. So you have core components, blocks, microcard component. And you are mixing it into your microcard.view. So from this moment on, you have all those methods available in your team. So what you need to do is just to create this template. I think this is pretty cool, and this is a pretty cool feature of Vue.js, because creating templates in Vue.js is really easy. It looks like really like HTML. It's not any new JSX or any fancy stuff. Of course, if you are a React developer, you probably hate something like this and prefer JSX. Okay, it's hard to discuss with that. But if you were a front-end developer, familiar with CSS and HTML, probably this markup is pretty familiar with you. And that was our intent, choosing Vue.js as our core framework. So you can even go further, and you can just import specific features from our core. You don't have to import whole microcard, but you can just import products in card. Let's name it trade, like in PHP it would be trade, or remove from card or something like that. So you can create very optimized bundles, very optimized components. Here I gathered some feedback we got from our users. I really love the first one. So the first one is about the HR. So it's easier to find the front-end developers to work with Vue Storefront and make those those developers, Magento developers, by putting them on Vue.js than training with Magento. It was pretty funny to hear something like that. And here's some feedback from our early users. So one of the sites we have on production is LAN HR. And funny thing is, the guys created this site without our awareness. So I wasn't aware that somebody is building site on Vue Storefront because it's open source. Everybody can just download it from GitHub. And then I found it in some social media monitoring tool. The news was in Russian because the guys are from Moscow. So I used Google Translate to translate it. And it was something like, we achieved like 100 millisecond loading time on Vue Storefront, which is great. Wow, really? How you did it? That was my question. So it's pretty cool. The second one is from Italy, and also the guys made the working POC, so proof of concept site that is almost done and can be shown to the clients in about 20 days. So pretty good timing, I think. And the last case is from the Singapore. Is the Hourglass.com. It's in the making, so will be published in the next 2 weeks. Last week I was visiting Singapore, so I met those guys, and they were also something like, "Wow, you saved my world because my company chose Magento, but we are not familiar with this technology, and it was pretty scary for us. So we use just Vue.js, and of course have this Magento up and running, is doing really well, but on front end we just can have Vue.js." So it was also pretty cool. Some other companies or enthusiasts are doing also pretty scary and funny things on Vue Storefront. So you can find voice commerce. Upside Lab was presenting today about the assistants, and they created the extension to Vue Storefront to use Vue Storefront in the assistants. So they are using our API to reorder products in using Alexa or Google. So that's all. Thank you.